Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President and CEO of NAMM, John Mlynczak.
Good morning. How about, forget about me, how about another hand for Mia Asano? Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have to follow that. Well, here we are in January 2025. And I mean, here we are. We're united as an industry, ready to work together for a successful year. We're here unified with all major brands in attendance, meeting with retailers and distributors. Yeah, we can, this can go. Retailers and distributors, 123 countries from around the world. We're executing our first 5-day NAMM show. We're offering expanded education and networking opportunities for all of the communities that unite here. We have 16% more exhibitors, 23% more brands than last year, and we have record-breaking media and influencer attendance. And most importantly, for the record, we are only seeing a 1.3% increase in the number of gray hairs on my head this year. So, we're good. The growth of the NAMM show, the expansion of days with more networking and education, the record-breaking media and influence attendance all demonstrate how our industry and NAMM are evolving. We gather to network, learn, and create unparalleled brand demand for the products and people that empower music making worldwide. Now, before we begin this morning, we do want to take a moment and recognize the communities that are affected by the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles. As you've seen in our communications, we have been in constant contact with our NAMM members and partners in LA, and we will continue to support them for months and years to come. This is our 49th year in Anaheim. LA is our home. LA is our family. And to everyone in LA impacted by this tragedy, we are here to support you. In one of the many social media threads about the fires and their impact on NAMM members in the NAMM show, and you know how these social media threads go, there's a lot of comments very fast. We were following all of the news, and one of our members made a comment in the thread that struck a chord. People were talking about NAMM and fires and what do we do, and they simply wrote, look at what's on the building. The music begins here. The healing can begin here also. To prepare for the healing that will take place in the many months ahead, the NAMM Foundation committed $50,000 to the 2025 LA Wildfire Relief Fund. And we are incredibly gracious for the over 75 donors who have, as of yesterday, contributed an additional $45,000 to this relief effort. These funds will support the needs of NAMM members, their employees, music programs, and music makers impacted. And of course, if anyone would like to contribute, there are QR codes on this amazing stage. Look at this great setup. Isn't this beautiful too? My man Wes, thank you. We also have information at the show in the NAMM Member Center, and we have 2 LA Wildfire Relief Centers here at the NAMM show, one in Hall C, the other in ACC North Level 2. You can go there to learn more about the coordinated efforts of the additional generous funds from all of our other NAMM members and partners, and you can learn more about needs. And if you know of anyone in need, please go to the relief centers. This is where we're coordinating all the efforts. Now, the most important part about relief efforts is getting aid to those who need it. So before we begin this morning, we have a very special NAMM member and partner here with us today. Someone who's literally been on the front lines of this disaster. On Instagram, next to Governor Newsom and President Biden, giving constant updates to the local community, rallying support for firefighters and emergency personnel up until 2 a.m., back up at 6 a.m. nonstop. It's our very own NAMM board member, mayor of Santa Monica, owner of Santa Monica Music Center, and founder and executive director of Outreach Through the Arts. Please welcome to the stage this morning, Mayor Lana Negrete.
I'm gonna cry already.
I'm gonna cry with you, it's okay.
I'm getting emotional.
How are you?
I didn't want to cry.
I know.
It feels so good to be in this room with my family. I cannot tell you, I broke down in tears when I walked in and heard the loud music in the Hilton. I was like, I'm home. So.
Oh, I saw your Instagram post last night when you got here, and it was here with my family, and it was the Hilton lobby, and I was like, yes, that's it. That's the moment. Well, you have been on the front line. Like, I've learned more about the relief efforts from your Instagram, following what's happening, and what a time to be mayor and lead. Can you give us, I think we're all wondering, what is happening in the community on the ground? What can you share that's going on that we need to be aware of?
Well, if you saw last night, the fires were 25 acres, and they're out as of my 6 a.m. meeting this morning. They're under control by the 405 freeway. But I have to say, what is happening right now is the community has come together in a great way to service people, but I think the message right now, as many of you have traveled into California, may sort of understand that anybody outside of our cities, Los Angeles, or outside of the state or the country, they think the entire coast of California is on fire and burned. And the impact it's causing to our local businesses is so severe that the relief efforts right now really also need to be focused and extend to our business community. Because if we experience an economic disaster, it'll be even more catastrophic. Yeah. We can't help others if we're not sustaining our own businesses. So right now my focus is working with our federal and state local partners to make sure that we get the funding we need as business owners. For those of us in this industry, whether you're performing at large events that have been canceled or you own a retail store, a lot of people, this is discretionary, disposable income. And so my concern is for our community, our industry, and all the small businesses around us. So what's been happening in our community is people have been canceling reservations, restaurants are still closed, and people are scared to come here because they think everything is burned up.
Yeah.
And so my focus has been serving our community business partners as well.
And as, in your Santa Monica music hat, we had talked before, you serve that most of that area with students and rentals and the schools. And you talked about, can you share, I know you're aware of many students who lost their instruments, who are displaced, who lost their homes. What's the current need of the music students that you serve right now?
I mean, personally, our family, my best friend, our family home that her mom had that we traveled to all the time in Malibu is gone. 6 of my daughter's best friends and half her soccer team, their homes are gone. Corpus Christi's gone, a church that we go to. But the schools there, we went during the red flag warnings the night before with a janitor to unlock the doors and save some of the instruments because we foresaw the possibility. Unfortunately, we couldn't get all of them, obviously, and a lot of our students that rent from us came to us the weeks ahead while they were staying as evacuees in the hotels and said, we lost our instrument in the fire. Obviously, I'm not going to ask them for insurance paperwork. We replaced the instrument right away. That continued and multiplied. People started canceling lessons, canceling rental payments, and we're a small family business. So the first thing, I have a nonprofit. Of course, we want to serve the community, but I have to tell you, it's been a financial burden for us, and we're not sure if we can see the light at the end of that tunnel. Just this week, we saw 6 more people ask if they could get a replacement instrument. And when we'll see the financial recovery of that, we don't know.
And your nonprofit Outreach Through the Arts, you've had that since what, 2014? Is that correct?
Well, 2012 when we started, and then we give every kid who's on free and reduced lunch through a Peggy Bergman Foundation through the Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District. They get free lessons.
Free lessons. Well, we'd like to help. So this morning, we're going to be giving our first disbursement of the LA Wildfire Relief Fund. We are happy to present you with $10,000 to Outreach Through the Arts. And please welcome our Julia Rubio, Executive Director of the NAMM Foundation.
Thank you. It's a lot of tears this morning. Thank you so much. This is going to go a long way. There's many kids who are on that free and reduced lunch program that lost their instruments, so I can't thank you and my NAMM family enough. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lana. Thank you for coming last minute. for texting and making this work. We're so honored to be here to present you this relief, and this is not the end. We're not going anywhere for years to come.
Well, I'm fighting for you guys at the state and federal level. Just know that I'm a small business owner just like you. I'm in the industry just like you, so I've got your back.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, how do we continue after that? What a special moment. How's everyone doing today? Are we good? Look, speaking of issues, I'm aware of another situation, and I was made aware in the green room, and we're working on it. We're going to we can't fix it this year, but we will rectify it next year. You mark my word. I do understand last year, I told you that we would never cut the bacon. We would always have bacon for you. I'm aware that they actually serve sausage this year. I hear about it. I'm taking care of it. This is a travesty, all right? It is preposterous. This is Porkgate. This is not going to happen again. So just please, next year, we'll take care of it. We promise, okay? Speaking of taking care of it, the people who will take care of it, we have to recognize the most hardworking people in show business this week. Can you give it up for the NAMM staff? Please give it up for the NAMM staff. These people work tirelessly year-round to serve you, to put on this amazing event. And in the past 2 weeks, when we are the busiest we could ever possible be, these folks added hours in the day to build relief centers and funds and call NAMM members. So when you see a NAMM staffer, they'll have one of these badges. When you see a NAMM staffer, thank them. Give them a high five. You can water them. You can feed them. Tell them, give them support. If they're running somewhere, get out of the way. They don't stop, right? They're focused on serving a NAMM member, so just if you see them, but they're amazing. I have the immense pleasure of working with these people every day, and they are who make this happen. I also want to recognize, speaking of amazing people, we have our executive committee as well as members of the board of directors. If you're on the executive committee or on the board, would you please stand to be recognized? Looking at you. Where's our XCOM board members? Thank you so much. And they're the ones that keep me in line, so they get extra round of applause, right? We also have members of NAMM Young Professionals Board as well as Women of NAMM Council. If you're a NAMM Young Professional Board or Women of NAMM Council, would you please stand to be recognized? I know, Dee Dee got to stand twice. Thank you. So we've spent the past few years thinking carefully about the value of NAMM, the NAMM show, and the NAMM Foundation. Why do we hold this very massive gathering? Why do we have an association? Why do we have a foundation? These questions has all consistently led us back to our mission to strengthen the music products industry and promote the pleasures and benefits of making music. It's really that simple. Our job as your association is to strengthen the industry to ensure more people start playing music and more people keep playing music. In your day-to-day business, we know you think about how to capture more customers and quite possibly how to compete with each other for each other's customers. In NAMM's day-to-day business, we think about how to help your businesses grow, and how we all can compete together for more lifelong music makers around the world. You see, our industry's customers, our music makers, have competing interests. Video games, sports, fitness, luxury, travel, Disneyland. There are all sorts of ways that a motivated, dedicated, passionate human being can spend their time and money. We at NAMM focus on how we, as an industry, collaborate and unite to compete with every other industry for our customers, to keep our music makers. We all benefit from creating more music makers around the world, and we believe that more music makers anywhere helps NAMM members everywhere. That's why we unite. That's what we do here at the NAMM Show. So we focus at NAMM on doing this in 3 ways. First of all, as you know this week, we unite our global industry at the beginning of each year at the NAMM show and identify opportunities and growth for a successful year ahead. But we also provide valuable year-round member services to strengthen our member companies. These include industry insights reports, NAMM U Online, NAMM Next, the work of NAMM Young Professionals, Women of NAMM, and of course, our commitment to representing you through advocacy and taking action on policies that affect or impact our industry. And last but not least, as we've already seen today, we reinvest in our industry to create more music makers and grow our workforce worldwide through the work of the NAMM Foundation and our market development efforts. So it's really a simple formula. We create more music makers around the world through the foundation, we provide valuable member services to help companies serve those music makers, and we gather the global industry every year to strengthen businesses and unite around that common goal to create more music makers, to strengthen business, to gather again. That's the formula. And we want to be incredibly transparent with our members about how we do this. Our progress has been carefully measured and reported back to all of you, our members. This month, we are proud to release our new annual impact report. In this report, you will see a comprehensive overview of all the ways we fulfilled our mission in 2024 and a look ahead to the opportunities of 2025. And for all of you in this room, our most loyal supporters that show up at 6 a.m. waiting in line to not get bacon. We want to make sure that you have the opportunity. Take a moment, download the report, look at all the information, and be our advocates. Help spread our message. And most importantly, if we're not doing something we should be doing, find a NAMM staffer. Call me. We want to serve. Now, looking back on 24, this was a particularly special year for a few new leaders. We welcomed not one, not two, but a record-breaking 3 new leaders in iconic and legacy Japanese companies. This morning, we want to make sure that we recognize these leaders. Mr. Atsushi Yamura, President and Representative Director of Yamaha, Mr. Masahiro Minowa, CEO of Roland, and Mr. Kentaro Kawai, President of Kawai. We congratulate each of these leaders on their success, and we look forward to seeing all that they're going to do in the future. Can we give a round of applause for our new Japanese leadership? Now, looking ahead to 2025, we see a year of stability, unity, and growth. The booms and busts and subsequent reactions that followed have settled down. From here, we believe that as an industry, we now have a stable basis where we can work together to return to the steady growth that we all enjoyed from 2010 to 2019. And this morning, to help us understand more about what lies ahead, we are honored to have leaders from 2 iconic and now 2 century-old brands to share their industry insights with us. Please welcome our first guest to the stage this morning, Christine Schyvinck, CEO of Shure, and Beth Heidt, CMO of Gibson. Hi, Chris. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the Century Club.
Yep, well, I mean, I thought it was a big deal till I met her, and they're 130 years, so, you know, you've got a lot of experience up here.
Well, and that's probably intentional. You know, both of your companies, again, you've been around for decades, and as you weathered the past few years, you had decades of legacy and history, and you've seen a few things. How did the legacy of your companies help the decision making and the way you approach the past few years? And maybe we'll start with our newest member of the Century Club.
Of course, thank you. Well, you know, you don't get to be 100 years old without facing adversity and many twists and turns along the way and constant reinvention. So that certainly happened over the last 5 years. There was ups and downs, and some products weren't selling at all, and then other products were like trying to outfit the factories to do 20 times the normal demand. happened. But I think in some odd ways, the pandemic years maybe put some accelerant on trends that were already happening. We already saw that people were trying to take control of their own content creation and do more. And that just really kick-started a lot of the trends that were already started. That's kind of what we saw.
I agree. I think also having a legacy brand allows you to provide some trust and stability in an uncertain time. So I think that was a source of consistency for us. We also paid attention to trends to make sure that we were enabling and delivering tools so that people could create music at home, high quality and really we're staying consistent with listening to consumers' needs, but also didn't jump too far ahead to flood the market with something or go into a category that maybe we shouldn't have. It was remaining steady and consistent to what we knew we could do and deliver.
You know, it's funny, as we get older and with more experienced professionals, that's the first thing that they don't react. Like you have those experiences to know that like, let's just stay steady. And it seems like it happens with brands as well.
Absolutely.
Well, as you look ahead, I mean, again, you both had product categories, one's up, one's down, and then upside down. And now that, are you seeing the stability that we're feeling? How are you feeling right now as far as where things are today? And then we'll get into where they're going in the future.
It does feel like we're getting to a level of normalcy again, right? We felt like we were coming out of that post-pandemic and after supply chain shortages. We've had a setback, you mentioned it just a moment ago, in terms of the fires in this part of the country. And again, you talk about the unity of our industry, to see people coming together and helping each other out. I mean, that's a focus that we have right now. And having people just, things burn down, but you can't burn the soul, the spirit, the community. And that's what is going to keep driving us forward. So we'll focus on that and keep driving forward.
Yeah, I think that we see it, and I want to just say first, sorry, that as an Angelino and having a team here, I can't thank you enough for the way we've all shown up together. And I do want to implore you, please, if we all just give a little together, we will make such a huge impact here. So please, first and foremost, please step up with us. So many of you have. I know more of you can. Let's continue to do that. So I just want to say that as well. And yes, we're seeing consistency. I think what's been great with some of the stability now is that we can now focus on putting more attention for us at Gibson on our acoustic category, that we're looking at our sound solutions. I think we're now gotten to a place where we're really able to say, okay, we're back to steady ground. So now let's put some accelerant on things like our media with, we launched Gibson Records or publishing. Let's find new ways that we can make sure we're delivering to connect fans, deliver consistency in our instruments and our products, but also now we have the ability to now turn and say, okay, what are new ways we can deliver to our fans? And we're showing up that way now.
You both of your companies have iconic products. I mean, you can pick a couple. You can take an SM58 and a Les Paul. Mm-hmm. And these have been, on top. And they're both, and I'll say this carefully, products that a lot of people like to look like and sound like and be like and constantly come after, right? How do you continue to keep those products on top? And what does that look like today with artists, social influencers? What's the strategy to make sure that those products that have always been on top stay on top? It's just the sheer amount of competition now.
I think, first of all, it's consumer education. So that's a big part of it. I'm sure some of you might have seen where we had a large seizure that took place recently in Long Beach Port, and it was made quite a bit of news there. But I think first and foremost, it's education. It's listening and connecting with consumers and making sure that even with legacy, we are delivering the product that people expect from us, that they want, our historic headstock. But it's also saying, okay, how are we really listening to deliver at an accessible price, the quality and the specs that they want, so that we don't have to worry about, I would say people who are lovingly impersonating potentially or creating, I don't like the term knockoff per se, but we stand steady with delivering the quality that you expect. We're listening. We can advance, we can innovate, we deliver on the legacy, but we give you the tools you need for a current music maker.
And I think consumers in general are just more savvy now. There's more
Much
places
more.
to buy, and there's more places
Yes.
to understand and educate yourself.
Yep.
So I think there is a more savvy consumer base. And then from our perspective, with how technology impacts our products so much, we just have to stay a step ahead all the time and continue advancing the state of the art. And that's one of the best strategies to stay ahead of the copycats.
I would say, actually, this also propelled us, as being both a manufacturer and a brand, we really had to come forward and have that more direct communication with our consumers. So we launched the Gibson Garage, our own flagship store. But that's really so that we can be closer to be a better partner to our dealer base, to really hear and listen to everyone who's playing, get that immediate feedback, and really figure out what's working in brick and mortar and online. So all of that has really fueled us to say, okay, we need to deliver experiences that are unparalleled, both in person in real life and then also digitally extended.
How does at the NAMM show, what are you doing here this week? How do your companies use the NAMM show today to help with this mission?
Oh, it's the best place to get industry insights, to go and look at I like to say not competitors, our brothers and sisters, see what you're all doing. We always do a deep walk and analysis of what's happening out there, because that helps to fuel us. But also the career advancements in education, just the connection. It feels so good to be back here, John. We really missed being here with all of you, being able to connect with you, and just hear your stories and best practices, how you're pivoting through these strange times. There's nothing more invaluable than that connection here, and you cannot connect with our industry anywhere else like you do here.
Yeah, I found it interesting when so many industries, including ours, were trying to do different forms of trade shows during the pandemic, and there was a lot of people just like eagerly predicting that this was like the end of people coming together in venues like this, right? And we've snapped back, so quickly, and it just shows that people do have to have those connections with each other face to face and learn from each other, and that's what we take advantage of, is all those connections at a venue like this.
That's what we're feeling too. I mean, that's really the idea of starting programming on Tuesday, because when we surveyed folks and we listened and we talked to members, they wanted more and more time to connect, and we said, well, we could start a little earlier. And then the idea is, and actually Tuesday and Wednesday, sorry that the sessions were overflowed, but we had a good problem. We had more people showing up than we expected, which was great. And it's been, we feel this like incredible energy now. People have had 2 days to connect, network, learn, educate, and now we're just opened the hall and we have 3 more days to go. So we're excited about that. This question might not be answerable, but it's worth asking. It's very anecdotal. This idea of, we're always looking for data. Where are we? Or is this down? Is this up? And this, how do we measure? Are there more music makers out there? Is there more demand? And when we see live touring, we see Swift and Noms, et cetera, what data or insights, or should I say industry insights, do you have just from global music makers? Are you seeing a growth there?
Absolutely, and we can say, especially specifically in the guitar industry, we had a 20% increase 2019 in COVID compared to maybe a more modest 2% or plus growth year over year. And we do have the challenge now of keeping those new players engaged, but it's easier to learn music, any instrument, than ever before. Your online resources, your connection points. So I think the main thing there from a data perspective has been, how do we keep those new players engaged? How do we make sure that we're providing the tools or the innovations? And from a data perspective, I'm going to hand this over to Chris, because she's got some, facts there she can share.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting to me. A couple of years ago, when we had the April NAMM, I ran into somebody here affiliated with Vandercook College in Chicago. So it took me coming to Anaheim to know what is in my own backyard, actually. So that tells you, the advantages of being here. But I went to the Vandercook commencement this past summer, and I did a little talk there, and I had to do a little research ahead of time. And it was really interesting, because I was able to leverage some past NAMM studies that had been done about the sentiment of the public around music education, and it never wavers, And so whether it's educators or parents of young kids, the vast majority of people want to see music and arts in the education. And the fact of the matter is 92% of kids have access to that still in public schools today. So public sentiment is high, and when you think about all the studies that relate this to the success of kids in school, if they are in music and arts programs, their cognitive, social, overall well-being abilities. So there's that. And then there are so many different platforms. Like we just talked about how content creating got more kick-started, if you will, during the pandemic year. So many different platforms for people to create and show off their individual skills and arts and music. So there's just more platforms for people now too, and more ways to consume music as well.
Yeah, I think we're feeling the same thing. And so we all look at different data, but what we feel is the potential for the desire for music making is still very high, and the potential to create more music makers around the world, because you're both global brands as well. And so we see, the potential in emerging markets that just to add tens of millions of more music makers is very high, and that's something we'd love to explore long term, because again, I heard a wise man say, more music makers anywhere helps NAMM members everywhere once.
That's
so
right.
I figured that's something we could But I really appreciate you both being up here. One final thought I'll ask you, because I know, Beth, you're a mentor now for NYP. You're mentoring, which is amazing, and we will obviously, the ask is coming, don't worry, you're on the list. But if you were to give advice to the next generation here that's out there looking for, what advice would you give for 2025? How do you seize 2025?
Connect as much as you can. Get out there, be in person, show up, and as much as this can sound, maybe I hope not too hokey, but just come with an integrity-filled, love-filled purpose. Follow your passion, show up with your passion, and we're so lucky to have that shared connection here with music. But show up, connect, ask for help, ask your questions, and the rest of it will flow.
And I would add to that, just given that we're here and celebrating the 100 years at this show this year, is continue to do what you do and pay homage to the past, but also be willing to embrace new technology and new ways of doing things and new ways of connecting with people and new ways of educating as well. So think about the past, but look forward to the future.
This would be the NAMM Show slogan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, so much for being here.
Thank you, John.
Beth.
Thank you.
I appreciate it very much. All right, good start. Throughout 2024, NAMM focused on providing industry insights as a new valuable member service to help support NAMM members. We began a new relationship with Forrester, a global leading research firm, and commissioned a study to provide us with deep insights into customer experience in the age of AI. This study taught us that customer experience is, of course, a priority for all industries, and that generative AI tools for business can help us deliver a better customer experience only if we are training them with the right data. We also learned that our industry lags behind other industries in leveraging Gen AI tools to provide more personalized customer experiences. And of course, you can download this Industry Insights report as well. At NAMM Next last summer, we heard from one of Forrester's leading analysts that customer experience expectations are actually created by every interaction our customers have. A customer today expects the same level of service from their bank as they do their grocer, as they do their music retailer. The bar is being set everywhere. As other industries level up their personalized customer experience, we too need to level up ours. This was one of many great insights that we gained from NAMM Next in 2024. This inaugural event turned out to be a great success, and we are proud to announce today that NAMM Next will return to Nashville June 29 through July 1, 2025. NAMM Next is an immersive leadership summit that allows us to gain deep insights into how we can grow our business and our industry. This is an event where manufacturers, retailers, distributors all come together to hear from globally recognized speakers on how we, as an industry, can seize the opportunities ahead of us. Like I said earlier, how we can compete with all other industries for our customers and keep our music makers. And of course, as of right now, registration is officially open, so you can register now. NAMM Next has very limited capacity. It will sell out. Be sure to register. Do not miss the opportunity to gather with leaders, learn about how we can grow our industry, and of course, be in a place that we all love as NAMM members, Music City, USA. So I will see you all in June. Now, at the beginning of 2024, we were all shocked and saddened by the closing of Sam Ash Music after serving the industry for 100 years. What was amazing was the outpouring of support and love for Sam Ash, with beautiful stories being shared of their legacy all through social media. We had customers reminiscing about all of their past experiences, about that first instrument and that second instrument and that 87th guitar that they got, But this event, along with all the continually shifting consumer expectations that we discussed at NAMM Next, have really put a focus on the future of retail. Retail is the backbone of our music industry, and we are grateful for the thousands of music stores around the world that serve as the front line to our customers every day. And here to provide more industry insights on the future of retail, our next two guests, I am proud to welcome to the stage Gabe Dalporto, CEO of Guitar Center, and Eric Matzat, Executive Director of the Alliance of Independent Music Merchants. Please welcome Gabe and Eric. Hey, good to see you. Great to see you guys. Let's have a seat. Did y'all coordinate shoes? That was great. I love it. Thank you for joining us. Eric, 3 months into AIMM, how many months?
Well, the official full-time started in January, but I was through a Q4 transition coming out of 20 years with Palin Music Center, and now full-time with the Alliance of Independent Music Merchants.
Amazing. And of course, a long time at Palin, so no stranger to retail. And Gabe, you're November 1st of 23, 24?
I joined on Halloween day.
On Halloween.
It was pretty awesome walking into the office, and everybody's dressed in like big pumpkin suits, and it was a great experience.
I was going to say, they're all dressed up. Were they scared of you, or is it just
it was a weird day.
Well, we really appreciate you being here together because, again, I think this year particularly, we want to talk about retail and how retail is evolving and how we can all support each other because, again, when any retailer wins, we all win. And I think that's one of the most important messages we want to share. Eric, we had you're with 13 months, 14 months. We'll start with the new guy at AIMM. What are the AIMM group? What is the AIMM group doing and how are retailers in AIMM evolving right now to look ahead to 2025 and beyond?
Well, it's kind of funny that you used the word evolve. That was part of our theme of our summit. So we had energize, engage, and evolve. We had a wonderful day yesterday. We had record-breaking attendance, almost 300 people from our retail group and preferred vendors. We had lots of bacon. It was just a really fantastic day.
Yeah, the Marriott has bacon. Did you hear that, Hilton? And the Marriott's not under construction. Go ahead.
So,
ooh, sick burn.
But the retail group is doing well. There's a tremendous amount of optimism. But as far as retail and what we're looking for in 2025, the group is continuing to focus on what they can do best and the things that they can really enhance. Things, whether it's rentals, repairs, services, community outreach, lessons, and any other revenue-generating activities that are not easily reproducible online. The group is heavily committed to sharing best practices. So if we uncover a particularly helpful tool, or if there's a promotion that's resonating with customers, the AIMM Retail Network rapidly exchanges information so that we can amplify that message across the whole organization. And then the group is really leveraging AI technology to try to address the rising expenses, whether it's helping with customer engagement and employee training, operational efficiencies, marketing outreach, content creation. So we're really trying to dig into those opportunities.
And what I'm hearing is there's not a magic answer. There's no certain pivot you're going to do. It's just doing the right things really well, sharing best practices, helping each other grow. It seems like that's the trend here, that there's nothing magic or sudden we have to do. We just have to do the right things really, really well.
Sure. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's about taking care of that customer, being unique to what you can do well, and then executing the plan.
Excellent. Gabe, thank you for doing this. It's really great to have you up here. I know a lot of folks are really looking forward to meeting you. And how many retail locations does Guitar Center have now?
303.
303. Okay, now when you agreed to do this, you said don't hold back. You said you'll only come up here if I don't hold back. So I got one for you. You have 303 retail shops. Now I can go on my phone and I could order something, and where I live, I can usually get it overnight. I order one thing, and my wife orders, it's like 25 things that show up, but like I can order something, I can get it overnight or within 24 hours, anything I want. So how do you have the right to have 303 retail stores that people have to put shoes and pants on to go to when I can get it on my phone?
It's a great question. You know, I spent most of my career in the digital space. There is not a single day that an Amazon delivery doesn't show up on my doorstep. So this is a really important question.
Same.
Right, and we have a lot of stores out there, a lot of brick and mortar, a lot of rent to pay, a lot of mouths to feed. So we started to ask ourselves this question, and more importantly, we started to ask our customers this question. And literally ask that. It's like when you can have anything to your door in an hour to 24 hours, like, why do you come into a store? And, there were a couple of things they said, but there was one thing that really kind of stuck out. And this is their words, not ours. Our customers in our focus groups would say over and over, sometimes I just need to go to Disneyland. Sometimes I just need to go to the candy store.
That's right.
We are literally Space Mountain to musicians. And they just want to come in and have fun. Sometimes they buy, sometimes they just want to explore. And so we took that insight and really ran with it this year. And really we're trying to create a deeply experiential environment in our stores. And some of the really practical things we did was, we looked at our guitar wall and we said, our best guitars are in the top row where you can't quite see them, you can't touch them, and they're locked up. And that's not fun. Our pedals, they're behind glass, displays, and if I want to experience that, then I have to go find an associate, unlock it, plug it in, like it's a big hassle. So we took our guitars, we unlocked them, that was a risk. We put the best guitars at eye level, that was a risk. We took our pedals and we created these massive pedal boards, so of 50 pedals chained together. And we have, 4 to 6 of them in every store. And so now I can go grab a premium guitar, plug it into 50 pedals, and explore my sound. And our time in store is up 20% this year. And our revenue in Q4 is up 6.6%.
Wow. All from customer experience. Imagine that.
Customer experience. Disneyland.
Yeah. And we heard this at the AIMM Summit yesterday. I mean, I think George led off with the customer, and that was the big focus. I mean, how is the AIMM group focusing on that type of customer experience in store?
Well, it really has always been about the customer. That's something I'm glad that you mentioned our founder, George, and certainly Bob, and formerly Skip, that really is the heartbeat of the organization. And as Gabe alluded to, when we can all come together and recognize what are the specific things that customer is interested in, when we can give them that immersive experience and we can serve them at a high level, it's really important. And so across the AIMM network, one of the things that's really vibrant and helps with that is it's a network of 55 companies that comes together. It's a scrappy, nimble network. You've got principals and owners directly involved. And so they're the ones that are interacting with the customers and seeing what's important. And that's what helps maintain that quality control. It helps that customer experience grow. It helps with Google review scores. And in fact, the AIMM dealers, usually within their geographic footprint, rise to the very top of that average Google review rating. And so it's just really important to address that. And when customers are comfortable and they're wanting to come in and just hang out and they feel great, as Gabe talked about, time in store is so important to really amplify that experience. And when that happens, you really are able to get truly the message of what the customer is wanting, because you build that trust and you build that friendship.
What I'm hearing constantly too is that you're all really in touch with your customers and you're using multiple data points, whether it's focus group, measuring time in store, et cetera, et cetera. Are there any new tools with, like Gen AI or anything that's helping you get more in touch with your customers?
Well, I think that, again, it comes down to that hyper-personalization. So the more that we can track what type of customer is coming in, and then we recognize, if a band director, for example, comes in your store, that's a very different experience on how you should interact and support that person and lead them to certain resources and personnel than if a single user or a parent of a seventh grade clarinet person comes in. They need a different experience than somebody who's a high-end, serious musician or collector. So it's a matter of recognizing what type of customer is in front of you, and then how can you best match the right personnel and resources around them.
What about Guitar Center? How do y'all, you have a lot of customer data from a lot of locations.
Yeah, so if I'm brutally honest with myself, Guitar Center over the years kind of lost touch with our customer. And frankly, the first thing I focused on Halloween was understanding who our customer was and making sure we had a real cadence to connect with them. And so what does that really mean? It means getting out in the stores and spending time with your customers. It means talking to your associates because they see way more than you ever will. It means doing focus groups, and we just stopped doing focus groups, and so we've now got a cadence where our executive team on a regular basis is going to focus groups in different geographies with different assortments and segments of people, and we're talking to them, and they start to tell you things like, well, why do you come into a store? And they'll usually say three things. One is Disneyland. Two is, I just need to feel and touch it. And now they may go shop you online afterwards, right? So you got to make sure you connect with them and close the sale. But you can take two identical SKUs and they weigh a little different and they feel just a little different, right? And our customers, they understand that. And then the third thing they say is, and now I need to talk to an expert who really, really knows what they're talking about. And so if I look at Guitar Center, we went from serving what I would call the serious musician to over time, way over indexing on beginners. And it's not that you don't need to serve beginners, but the core of your market is the serious musician, and that was the epiphany for us. And to serve that customer, we figured out that we needed to have much better product in the stores so you can feel it and touch and experience it, deliver that Disneyland experiential environment, and then have a knowledgeable, friendly salesperson. And again, being brutally honest, we had cut our training 7 years ago. And so the knowledge in the stores had decayed. And you just can't serve a serious musician if you don't have that knowledge and training. So we invested significantly in the training. And all of our scores are up now, and that's contributing to our results in Q4. But it all came back to, this whole transformation at Guitar Center came back to, on day one, focusing in on spending time with your customer, understanding your customer, understanding what's important, and then building a strategy around that.
Did I read that when you started, you went and did some time on the floor at the store?
Absolutely. I think my third day, I was in the store. I was pick, pack, and shipping, and checking customers out, and buying used gear, and
it's like undercover boss.
I honestly but I'll tell you, the truth is in the stores. You can sit in an office and think you know what's going on, and you have no clue what's going on. And a lot of the insights we had was really from working as an associate, working with customers, and just realizing as a company how hard we'd made it for our associates to serve our customer. So the more you spend time with customers and in a deliberate learning fashion, I think the better you understand them.
You mentioned the online piece, and I wanted to ask about how much of the strategies are moving to hybrid, online, and retail, and we can start with the AIMM group. What is that online retail hybrid strategy looking like in 2025 and beyond?
Well, I think most customers want to interface with a company that is multidimensional and can be excellent both in-store and online, so that combination is very important. And when that happens, you do need to make sure that the purpose and the personality of your store shines through the various channels. And there also needs to be cross-promotion. So if a customer comes in your store and they're exploring and touching and feeling and having that experience, there should be QR codes where they can go to your website, they can learn more, they can have a deeper understanding of what they're experiencing in the store. And then if they're online, there should be video links featuring the personalities in your store, featuring the ruckus that's going on, any new things, and that creates that curiosity and that interest, and that's what drives people in your door.
I like it. Anything to add, Gabe?
So, Guitar Center has been known for our stores forever, and I think that's where the center of mass of our psyche is. We didn't take digital seriously enough, and as a result, there is now a giant, fierce competitor that came and ate our digital lunch, and we cannot accept that. We have to be amazing at digital, we have to be great at brick and mortar, and we have to bridge that gap. There's things that we can do that nobody else can do. I can buy online and walk into my local store and pick it up and, immediately, right? Immediate gratification. So we have used and vintage across 300 stores that we can ship. You can shop online and we can ship anywhere. So there's certain advantages we have that a pure play doesn't have, but it starts with you gotta be just brilliant at digital. And so we've invested significantly in our digital team, and they are digital killers, and we're really excited about our digital business.
So looking ahead to 2025 and what you see, we've talked about stability and unity and growth this year. What industry insights would you provide for folks thinking about the next year ahead?
Well, we have to continue to focus on making more music makers. I mean, you mentioned it in the open. It's something that's critically important. And honestly, Gabe and I are here representing brick and mortar retail. It's the community music store where people get started playing music. And then we have to be excellent enough at that experience that they're interested and willing to come back time and again, so that when they do become that higher end musician, they have that familiar experience, and they know that there are people there that care and that are excellent and that they want to come back. So I think developing more music makers, I think we have to continue to attract more excellent, motivated people into the workforce of this amazing industry, whether it's in retail or in some underserved areas like instrumental repair. I don't know any school service dealer anywhere that's not clamoring for great repair techs. So we need to talk about these opportunities both in the high schools and post-secondary to attract people to this great industry. And then we've talked a lot about technology. That's the final thing that comes to mind. We really, over the next year, we need to lean into technology. Profitability has certainly been under attack with all of our businesses. We need to find ways to maximize productivity, lower expenses, and leverage what AI and other emerging technologies have to offer.
What he said.
Yeah, I mean, I would do the same thing. Well, it means the world to have you up here together, because we're here talking about unity. And again, when any of us succeed, all of us succeed. When any of us starts a music maker, we all keep that music maker. And I think that's one thing that we've all had conversations about, off stage when we've chatted, is this idea that a music maker may start in someone's store, but we keep a music maker for life. They're going to be our industry's customer forever. So every experience that music maker has that keeps them playing, we want them to buy that 87th guitar. We want them to buy all the accessories and music and everything else that inspire others.
So let me just build on that for a second. So when I said we refocus the company on the serious musician can be a touring artist. It can be a producer. It can be, someone like me who's played my whole life, but I've got a day job. It can also be, a 13-year-old who, picked up their first guitar 6 months ago and is playing 4 hours a day and is like dead into it. Mm-hmm. And we need to be there for them. And that's like this next year for Guitar Center, there's going to be a big focus on our lessons business, so we can take those people who really want to be amazing and help them build the skills. And that's the next generation of serious musician. And that's really a big focus for us in the coming year.
I love it. So what you're saying is more music makers anywhere helps NAMM members everywhere. That's what I'm hearing. Thank you all so much. This was great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
All right. As we talk about how to create the best possible experience for our customers, let's also recognize again that we are all here united with shared goals. One of the most essential functions of a trade association is collective representation on policy and trade issues. NAMM works tirelessly every day to represent you and support you as members on our 3 policy priorities. These are music education advocacy, workforce development, and business compliance. On Monday, an executive order was signed that directed federal agencies to deliver a sweeping review of U.S. trade policies due by this spring. Speaking with reporters at the time of signing, President Trump said he was considering enacting 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, potentially as early as February 1st. On Tuesday, President Trump told reporters he intends to impose a 10% tariff on China starting February 1st. Again, there has been no action yet. There has been the signal of action potentially as early as February 1st. Our team meaning your team that we employ for you as an industry, our great friends at Nelson Mullins are here with us this week, and we continue to get up-to-the-date information to inform you, our NAMM members. We have been coordinating for months with other NAMM members as well as partner organizations, including the National Retail Federation, Consumer Technology Association, and others for a coordinated response on any action that may be taken. We are ready to take action with you, our NAMM members, and broader partners if and when any tariffs are imposed. Please be sure that you all sign up for NAMM's emails so we can reach you with any time-sensitive action items. And of course, you can always check the policy section of NAMM.org. And this May, we are proud to lead a delegation of NAMM members back to Washington, D.C. for the 19th year to advocate for music education and full funding of the federal programs that support music education. How many D.C. fly-in vets are in here? How many folks have been before? Yeah. And as you know, the NAMM DC fly-in is not only an opportunity to advocate at the federal level for a single day, we provide training for all the delegates in attendance so you can be leaders at the state level all year round. And today, guess what? Sign up for the NAMM DC fly-in in May is officially open, so you can sign up as well on that. And please consider joining us. This is the funnest part about Industry Insights because I get to launch all the new stuff we're doing for the rest of the year, which is great. We have a NAMM Next, we have a fly-in, we have an impact report, all kinds of stuff. Your downloads are full, I know. Along with NAMM's policy efforts, the NAMM Foundation has increased its efforts to create more music makers worldwide. This year, we have invested $750,000 in our global grant-making program, a 50% increase from the past 5 years to support music programs that create more music makers across all industry segments. We have expanded our Consider a Career in Music initiative to ensure the next generation of talent sees our industry as the exciting career opportunity that it is. And here at the NAMM Show, we have increased our scholarship efforts by more than 50% to bring 152 college students here to Anaheim to start the future of their career in our industry. Now, also in 2024, we were pleased to welcome our new executive director of the NAMM Foundation, Julia Rubio. Under Julia's leadership since taking the role in July, the NAMM Foundation has expanded programming and contributions with more than $315,000 in donations to the NAMM Foundations from companies and individuals in our industry in 2024. And among the most generous contributors is Dinah Gretsch and the Mrs. G's Foundation. Dinah has served on the NAMM Foundation board for 2 years and exemplifies philanthropic giving and a commitment to growing our entire industry. And this morning, we are pleased to have on stage with us Julia Rubio and Dinah Gretsch to talk more about the NAMM Foundation. Would you please give them a warm welcome? How are you? So good to see you. Hey, friend.
Wow.
Welcome.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Well, Julia, 6 months in, your first NAMM show, right? Give it up for Julia's first NAMM show.
Thank you.
Is it what you expected? I mean, we've been talking about it and planning for it, but you're here now. So what are you feeling? What does it feel like to be here?
You know, I have to say, there was a moment I was backstage for a few minutes looking out at this incredible group of people just getting breakfast and watching our musician warm up and start to perform for all of you. And I just felt such a sense of, wow, I am incredibly lucky to be here. This creative industry is broad and diverse and an amazing amount of dedicated and creative and interesting people. So, gosh, call me lucky. I'm privileged to be here, and thank you for the warm welcome.
We are lucky to have you, my friend.
Yeah.
Dinah, you joined the board 2 years ago.
Correct.
And in the past 2 years, you've seen such a transition for the NAMM Foundation too. What have you seen in the past couple years from NAMM Foundation, and where do you see it going in the future?
Oh, I believe that the NAMM Foundation really supports music education. And that, to me, is, that's the most important thing to me, is music education. And to see it's been really great working with Julia. And I think with her being new now, we've developed a lot more things that we plan on doing, and I think it'll all be great.
And I think one of the things that we've talked about considerably is the work of the foundation is integral to the work of NAMM. It's what unites us. We all gather to support more music makers worldwide. In fact, I think our guests today have been saying it over and over again. How do you see, you're of course a NAMM member, an amazing company with a great history and legacy, and also someone so philanthropic. How do you see NAMM and the NAMM Foundation working together?
Well, I think it's one.
It's one.
It's one.
I teed you up for that. I know. A very leading question.
No, I do. I see that it's really one in that you've brought all of these things together.
Yeah. Julia, you've obviously been working a lot on just defining the NAMM Foundation for folks, and you have lots of sessions this week. I know you're talking about it. Can you give us what the NAMM Foundation is today as you lead it forward?
Yeah, and to just support what Dinah said and to acknowledge the history of 125 years of NAMM as an association being dedicated to giving back to its community. We at the NAMM Foundation, we're here to really embody that and take action on that really deep-seated mission. And the way we look at it is, where are those barriers to participating in music, making music, to advancing in a career in the music industry? And how can we, as a foundation, make strategic investments to help break down those barriers? We're looking for the big ideas, we're looking for the bold solutions, and we're looking at how we, through the generosity of our parent organization, NAMM, and individual and independent donors like Dinah, can leverage that investment to help create more music makers and make sure that everyone has a place who wants one in our music industry as a professional and creative problem solvers.
How about that?
Yeah.
I love it. I think that breaking down barriers piece is so important. It's something you've brought to us that just makes, it's one of those aha moments. You said it. It's like, yes, that is what we do. But, it's like just having your lens and your leadership has been incredible just in the past 6 months.
Just get out of people's way. They will create. We need to get out of their way.
As a former music teacher, right? You realize, just get out of their way. You're not doing anything. Just let the kids, exactly.
Just
we're both
let
former
them have
music
fun.
teachers.
We have a room full of creators. They understand what that's about. Yeah.
That's exactly it. So, Dinah, let's remind folks and walk me through this. You and Fred took back over Gretsch in what year?
1984.
In 1984, you went back, and then at that time, you had, if your drum business wasn't quite there anymore, the guitar factory, it was being moved, there was a fire, you had to rebuild a business. And over these years, you have rebuilt Gretsch into the amazing business it is today, but also, as you did it, you have been philanthropic at the same time. And talk to us about that strategy of not just rebuilding a legacy brand, but also you rebuilt an industry with it.
What I'm going to say to all of you is that maybe I did this a little bit out of greed also. Our company's 141 years old, and I'd like to see it live to be, 200 years old. But one of the things that we all know, that if we don't have the players that play musical instruments, none of us will be in business. So 13 years ago, I started Mrs. G's Foundation. In around 1984, we started the Gretsch Foundation. And I'm a big supporter of the Gen X program that NAMM has. I believe, we started the Fred and Dinah Gretsch School of Music at Georgia Southern. That is our legacy also. And so I have all these music programs in schools. I support Music Will, also very heavily. I believe in their program. We put it all across the state of Georgia. And now we've partnered with the University of South Carolina. And what we've done is we worked on a program with the School of Music there, and so we are taking playing musicians, and we have scholarships for them, and they can take a program at the University of South Carolina to be certified as a public music teacher, public school music teacher. And I'm going to add that this is a pilot program for 3 years, and the thing that we were worried about is we would not find that candidate. And so in January, it just started in January, we started 12 musicians, and we have a wait list. So I think that's where we have to go in order to cover rural America, because there's so many schools that have a budget for a music teacher, cannot find a music teacher. So that's our support of covering everywhere in the United States. So we think that, at the end of the summer, we'll have 12 more teachers that can go into these small schools or just areas that people don't want to live.
Mm-hmm. And what I love about what you do, and again, you're on the NAMM Foundation board, you give generously to NAMM Foundation, but Mrs. G's Foundation gives generously to many other areas. And that's something that we embody at the NAMM Foundation. We're never going to say, give it all to us. I mean, we're here, we look for where we can break down barriers and work with our industry, but we encourage NAMM members. We know many NAMM members also have their own foundations, and they should. And all those foundations have come together the past 2 weeks to work together to work on the need. I'll give here, you give here. We just want everyone covered, whether it's rural communities that need teachers, whether it's college students coming to NAMM. And so you're so good about like having this portfolio of where your generosity can do good, and in partnership, some with NAMM, but a lot in other places, and that's just that's so wonderful to see. That's the spirit of our industry, that you're just such a model for that.
One of the things the store can do also is you could sell your instruments to young people and let them put their name in a pot, and then draw it out at a certain time and give that child a scholarship to go to a guitar camp or a drum camp during the summer. And, that child will really appreciate that. That's one of the things I do too, is give scholarships for these young musicians to go to these summer camps, because it's a great place for them to, just really build themselves.
You've been recognized a few times for how amazing you are. You're in Georgia's top 500 leaders for the third year in a row. You were actually Dr. Dinah, honorary doctorate.
Right.
You have quite a list of accolades, and I think you all know why. But I don't think you've been recognized enough still. Would you mind coming to the front of the stage with me for a special presentation?
Oh.
And Dinah has no idea what's about to happen. This is the fun part. Dinah, today, for over 4 decades, you have demonstrated a steadfast commitment to our industry and to creating more music makers. And as you and Fred built back Gretsch to what it is today, you always built up an entire industry with you. Your work through the Mrs. G's Foundation is an absolute inspiration, and you serve as the gold standard of philanthropy in the music industry. For your dedication to our industry and to creating more music makers worldwide, we present you this morning with NAMM's highest honor, the Music for Life Award.
Oh, thank you.
And it's somewhere. I think DJ's running it out. There's an award. I knew you'd run it out.
Oh, thank you so much. This is a big surprise. Thank you. That was a surprise. Thank you.
Well, thank you all. Thank you, Dinah. And thank all of you for all of your insights. We stand here united as an industry, as you heard this morning, committed to working together and supporting each other to first and foremost create more music makers worldwide. Remember, we are not in the music products industry. We are in the music people industry. So let's go forth, open the exhibit hall, and experience all the amazing people and products that make up the global industry. Thank you all for attending, and have a great 2025 NAMM show.
Oh, thank you.
Very much.